Hello everyone, and welcome to a little bit of a different video today. I thought since World Update number 1 came out and then World Update number 2 for FS2020, most of you guys have been flying around in the very same place, either in Japan or in the US now lately. And I thought, why not change a little bit? And the world is pretty big. It's very hard to find new places if you don't know where to start. And I thought I could give you maybe a little bit of a help here. And some of the places I'm going to show you today in the video I've personally been, so I know they are special for a fact. Others I've read, I've seen documentaries about, or I was very interested in learning more about those places, and those I want to show you obviously as well. To start things up, I think I'm gonna do one of those videos at least once a week. I think it's a very nice addition to what we already have online on websites to find new and interesting, exciting places on Earth, and as well on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Let's start with the very first one that I personally know. I've been there many times with my former company, and we used to fly into this place, and it's a very special one. It's right here. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you the ICAO codes and everything in case you want to do flight plans to and from. The very first one is Marina di Campo. It's in Italy. It's on the Isola di Elba, on the island of Elba. And very special approach is a VFR airfield only. Biggest airplanes going into that place are ATR 42 72s, Dash 8 300s, and I remember seeing a Dornier 328 as well there once. Obviously some private jets, smaller ones, and all sorts of general aviation aircraft, single engine, turboprops and piston engines. This is the place. As you can see, I'm gonna go, by the way, we're in Bing Maps here, so this is going to be the satellite image you're gonna have in Flight Simulator 2020 as well. I'm gonna tilt down here a little bit. You're gonna see very easily now behind the runway the rising terrain, and when we come into those approaches, especially the one we used the most was runway 34. That was the one we're facing right now. We, as an operator, we came in from the north most of the time, so we used to fly over this area here where my mouse cursor is. There was a football field here somewhere. There it is, this one, soccer field, and basically headed towards that one. Then we were going out on sea here around this cape, coming back in, slightly offset because there is a little bit of a hill on this side, so we were coming in slightly offset like that, and being in short final we turned towards the runway. The special thing about this approach, the runway 34, was in case of a missed approach you had to, and that was with a Dash 8, you had to go through this valley. So basically you were following the road out into the sea again. The second option, and that was more special to me, to be honest, was the approach from the north, where we're coming in here. There is two types of approaches you can fly. One through the valley, going into a very steep left turn here towards runway 16. The other one was basically just over the hill. Depends on the aircraft you have, you can do it. If your airplane is very handy to fly in a dirty configuration with flaps out and gear out, this is pretty funny to do. You just fly over this hill here in front, and you just pitch down towards the numbers. It worked quite well, I have to say, and the site was amazing. Wonderful island, very beautiful. Very nice to rent a car and just drive around. But enough talking, let's jump into FS2020 and let's take a look how it looks in there. Alright, and here we are in Marina di Campo in Elba. This is the typical approach we're shooting. We're coming in from the north, just behind the hill, clearly visible now, the runway popping up. And from this point in time, we're already starting to configure. We're already in the first notch of flaps. We're a little bit higher than that. I'm just staying low so we can see the terrain a little bit better, and the landmarks we're heading for. We're gonna go into a light right turn now towards the football field, the soccer field I was mentioning before. I'm gonna keep the airplane now in a clean configuration just for this video, otherwise it's gonna take forever. I'm gonna even speed up a little bit. This plane is not really fast, but there we have the runway just beneath us, and we're heading towards the soccer field just in front of us. There it is. After the soccer field, we're gonna go into a light left turn, always keeping the airfield inside, going basically now into a sort of downwind and extend it a little bit. Obviously, with a Cessna 172 in real life, I would not go so wide or so far out, but I'm trying to fly the same circuit we did on a Bombardier Dash 8, which to be honest is pretty tight with that twin turboprop airplane. There we are. Threshold is right there. We're over the Cape and slowly turning in. There we are. Now towards the numbers, slightly offset because of the hill we have right in front. And I'm very surprised when I flew in here the very first time in FS2020. I even have to say the trees seem to be at the very same position they are in real life. There is a tree right in front of the threshold, which was sort of in the way when you try to just cross the numbers. I think it's visible right now, slightly on the right side, just in front of the turnoff. There we are. And going into final. And that would be a landing. And I'm going to show you the go around now. In case something went wrong, you had to go through the valley. So in this case, let's pretend we're going to go around. In this case, we're just going to follow the road all the way out. Sort of an S-curve, slightly to the right, slightly to the left, and you're over the sea again. And that's it. Alright guys, real quick to Isola di Elba, Marina di Campo, in case you want to recreate the flight or just go there and check the island out for yourself. Very easy to find from the mainland Italy. The island of Elba has a VOR 114.7, Echo Lima Bravo, and the ICAO identifier is Lima India Romeo Juliet. Runway is very short, elevation obviously sea level 30 feet, and 945 meters is the runway. And the entire thing is located just offshore of Grosseto Air Force Base. It's a military airfield. It was the alternate for us in some cases if the weather was bad in Pisa. Pisa is right here, and further south down the coast you have Rome, Fiumicino here, and the island of course, Bastia is right there. So it's in between Pisa, Rome and Bastia on the island of course. There we are. And to come to the next airport, I decided to show you also a very special one. I've been there in person. It looks phenomenal if you're standing on the apron because it is in the mountains. The place is in Switzerland. It's called Ambri. It was a old ex-military airfield. Nowadays, sometimes it's open during the winter also for they're doing some snow drifting with cars and learn how to drive in the winter in snow, and it's kind of funny. The airport is not really closed. To be honest, I'm not really up to speed there. It is in service, but I've rarely seen planes land there, so maybe some one of you guys can hit me up on that. The place is very close to Elba. It's just a little bit north. I'm gonna show you where it is located. And we're going here into, it's right in the middle of the Swiss Alps. It's just in front of the Gotthard Pass, which is here, Airolo. Very famous for the main axis if you want to go from the north to the south and cross by car the Swiss Alps. And you can already see airport is located here, 3,241 feet high. Private, it says, Lima Sierra Papa Mike, and runway of 1,250 meters. The place is represented in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and satellite image is pretty good, I have to say. I was checking it out before. Let's jump right in. First I'm going to show you in Bing Maps. Let's see if we can find it. Should be right here. Biasca Piotta Ambri. There we are. And as you can see, I didn't promise too much, I hope. I'll show you. If we go down a little bit. This place is amazing. Just imagine. I'm not even familiar with the missed approach, if they have any here, or if you're committed to land once you cross this point, because you can continue here towards the San Gottardo, Airolo, but well, maybe if you just follow the valley up. But then again, this is a VFR place, there's no instrument approach, and if you're solely rely on VMC, this could be tricky. If something's blocking the valley, good luck coming out again and maybe turning around in here. It's pretty narrow, to be honest, I have to say. Well, let's jump in and let's see how it is in FS2020. Alright guys, here we are again. Ambri now, this time in Switzerland, and I'm very sorry for the bad visuals, but I just realized this is the real weather right now, and I thought that might be fun. Let's try. It's marginal VFR, I would say, and let's see if we can hit the runway. Should be right in front of us. We're coming in from the south right now. We're not really a lot above the airport. We're at 4,600 now, and it should be in the valley just in front of us. Just to give you a quick overview here, that's where we are. Pretty tight valley, and overhanging clouds. Looks like overcast. Nothing's coming through. and we should be able, hopefully, to see the runway very soon. This time I try to make a legit landing, so let's hope it works. Well, luckily I have the Garmin, at least I can see where the runway is there, but I think we would even manage without it. And I can, I think, just make out the threshold of the runway just in front of us. Visibility is pretty poor, but I think it should work. Basically, if you follow the road, I think you're pretty good, because the runway runs along the main freeway you can see just under my, in front of my nose. Check. Yeah, you can see the displaced threshold right now, and it looks like the runway ends there, but it actually starts where the asphalt becomes darker, so I'm not gonna touch down here, it would be wrong. Luckily I'm aware that the runway is pretty long, otherwise I would be scared right now if I don't have my Garmin, but you can see the runway starts right there, there's the numbers. Alright, there we go. And this is Umbri, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty steep valley up ahead, and you can only imagine, it's like I said before, if the weather is very poor in here, doing a go around, especially if you don't know if you can come out the other side again, at least VMC, because like I said, this is not an instrument approach in here, could be real tricky. And yeah, turning within the valley, I don't know if this is really an option here, but maybe some of you guys can tell me otherwise. Alright, let's go to the very last one. Alright guys, and the last one today is going to be not an airport, but a rather special place, and the history of this place is very interesting indeed. It's a crater which is on fire for 50 years in 2021. And I'm talking about, some of you might know, the Darvaza fire crater. It's a gas crater which collapsed in 1971 and created a huge crater, and gas was leaking out. The local authority, they thought in burning the gas would be better than letting it stream out into the atmosphere. What they didn't know is when they started a fire to burn the methane gas, the gas started to burn and never really extinguished, and it is right here. It's at the border from Turkmenistan, that's in the south, and in the north we have Uzbekistan. So the place is a little tricky to find, to be honest, in FS2020, but I'll give you my best possible way to get there. And there's two options. I think it's easier to start in Ashgabat, which is the capital of Turkmenistan, and then fly straight up north. It's 140 miles, nautical miles, to Darvaza. It's exactly at the border. It's basically in Uzbekistan, behind the border, but you're not going to see the border, obviously. The only way to navigate through is basically you follow this road. That's the only one in this massive desert, and you're gonna see it quite easily from up above. Once you come to Darvaza, it's slightly northeast in a little bit of a ditch, but the crater is not very big, but it's the only dark object within miles, so just look out for a dark spot in the ground, and you're gonna be having an easy time to see it. It's just slightly east of the main road, and to give you the details here, pretty much north, slightly, or it's a 356, 355, 143 nautical miles, and this is here, just behind the border. The other option would be going from Dashoguz, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Uniform Tango Alpha Tango is the ICAO, or from Urgench, Uniform Tango November Uniform. It's like I said, it's a little more tricky because there's no VOR actually where you can make an outbound from one of those two if you, I guess it will work, but it's easier from Ashgabat, and that's Uniform Tango Alpha Alpha, all the way up north. Alright, let's jump into FS2020 and take a look. And here we are in the Uzbek and Turkmeni desert. The gas crater right in front of us and underneath. Very nice to see from the air, and if you look very closely you can even see the flames. Unfortunately it's not animated, but very cool to see a place so remote and so unknown to most of us that still is being implemented in FS2020. It's a nice addition, I think, and I was very happy to discover it. I heard about this place before, I was reading about it, and I was curious to see if it's within the sim, and it is. So if you're up for a challenge, and I'm gonna tell you this, it's not easy to find it. It's a needle in a haystack, but it's very rewarding once you get there and see this piece of history right in front of you. Like I said, this fire is burning now for almost 50 years. They started this fire in 1971, so it's in 2021 it will be 50 years anniversary. That's gonna be it for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's nothing special, but I thought something different from the usual Japan and United States flying with the 2 world updates lately, and we'll see if we find some new interesting places. If you know something that might be interesting as well, leave it down in the comments below, and thank you very much, and safe flying, guys. Take care.